Hello Cryptowisers, welcome back to the channel. My name is Milton and I will be your captain for this episode. Today we're going to talk a little bit about stable coins. We don't often focus on stable coins here on the channel, but with the major dips in the last few months in the market, we have allocated most of our stable coins to buying the dip. So we were getting a low on those stable coin reserves. And so I've been focused on building that back up. And of course, when you have stable coins, you're always looking where can you get the best yield on your stable coins. And so in today's episode, I'm going to share with you what I'm doing right now, a few other techniques that I know are very popular out there. So today is all about stable coin yields here on the channel. So buckle up because this is going to be another exciting episode of Cryptowise. All right, a couple things to keep in mind when you're looking for yield on those stable coins is risk versus reward, obviously. How much risk is involved versus how much APY are you getting back? What kind of yield are you getting back and what are you risking for it? So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you what I'm doing. I obviously am okay with some amount of risk, but I'm not out there with my stable coins chasing the very, very top yield if it's on a platform that I do not trust or that I don't know a lot about. And for the most part, I'm only worried about the actual yield that I'm getting back in my stable coins. For me, this isn't so much about degen farming, getting crazy amounts of yield in some native token of some random degen yield farm. Now, of course, those of you who watch the channel regularly know that I do yield farming. Of course, nothing against it. I do it, but I have a specific allocation for that, kind of my higher risk allocation. In today's episode, I'm talking about my core stablecoin stash, the one that I'm holding to buy the dips with. What do I do with it when I'm not buying the dips? So I am looking for a little less risk in this strategy. But of course, in crypto, there is always risk in everything. So it's about how much risk and the risk of one platform versus what you consider the risk of another platform. And the other key aspect for me now, which is a newer thing over the last few months, is my strategy is multi-chain. I'm looking for diversification, and that's one way that I mitigate risk. Instead of just using one platform, I use a whole bunch, and now I'm using multi-chain. I'm using multiple networks, and I have a little bit on each network that I use. This way, worst case scenario, one of the platforms I'm using gets hacked or there's a rug pull, something happens. I don't have all my eggs in that basket. So that's one way that I diversify my risk. All right, first one up, a centralized choice. Probably no surprise to anyone who watches this channel. That's Celsius. I gotta say, Celsius, one of my favorite projects in crypto by far. It is a centralized company. You gotta know that. So it's more of a savings account. You put your crypto in there, they get to use it and lend it out to someone else. But the great thing about Celsius is they guarantee that they will give back 80% of the profit from lending out your crypto back to you. And so they always have great rates, and that is true of their stable coins. As you can see here, you can still get 8.88% on most stable coins. That includes TUSD, GUSD, USDC, USDT, and a whole bunch more. So 8.88, not the best out there, but in terms of risk reward, Celsius is my number one. I really trust Celsius. I love what they do, and they do maintain really high rates because of that 80-20 rule. It is in their bylaws. They have to give 80% back to the community. And so they're always going to have very competitive rates. Right now on stable coins, 8.88%. And I just love Celsius. I love what they're all about. I love what they're doing. So if you do not use Celsius yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. I'm not saying put all your crypto there. You don't have to do that, but it's definitely a platform I highly recommend. I have a lot of my crypto in there. I use it for stablecoin yield as well. And if you are going to sign up, we do have our referral code in the description of this video. If you use our referral code, you get a bit of money, we get a bit of money, and everyone wins. But for me, Celsius is a must for any crypto holder. A couple other options from a centralized point of view, from giving a company your crypto and allowing them to lend it out would be BlockFi. I also still use BlockFi only for stablecoins now. I used to have Bitcoin on there. I used to have other things, but they have lowered their rates so much for Bitcoin and the other things. It's not worth it anymore. Definitely not as impressed with BlockFi as I am with Celsius, but you can still get 8.6% on stablecoins. So for the sake of diversifying, having my funds in as many different places as possible, I do still use BlockFi for some stablecoin yield, 8.6 right now. And I did throw it out to Twitter to see what you guys are using for stablecoin yield. One of the ones that came back was Voyager, which is very similar to a Celsius or a BlockFi. I don't use it personally, but right now you can get up to 10% yield. I do believe it's still only available in the US, but is going to be expanding to other markets eventually. So there's Celsius, BlockFi, and Voyager. Right now, Voyager would be the highest APR, but I would still recommend Celsius as my number one recommend for centralized options for stablecoin yield. Alrighty, so those are the centralized options that I use for yield on stablecoins right now. In terms of DeFi, I am using Binance Smart Chain and Polygon right now. Actually, ETH gas fees these days are not too bad, but because Binance and Polygon both have much cheaper options, might as well use them. So unfortunately, it's actually pretty hard to find good yield on the most secure, most proven platforms like Aave or Compound. I was actually using Aave on Polygon for a while because they were offering such good incentives, but those have been reduced pretty dramatically recently. And right now on your USDT, you're only getting 2.79. You are still getting that extra incentive in the form of 1.69% of Matic. Not too bad, but I have moved off of Aave on Polygon for now. And what I'm using on Polygon these days, it's a combination of Volt Finance and Auto Farm. So Auto Farm, if you watch the channel, you know that has been one of my favorite yield optimization sites on Binance Smart Chain for a long time. They recently added Polygon, and so I wanted to try it out. And in terms of stablecoin vaults, Walt seemed like the best choice at the moment, although they also have BZX, Curve, and a few other options. But the one that I am doing is the Walt Vault. And I'm actually not doing the one with the highest percentage. So I'm doing USDC and DAI. Another way that I like to diversify my stablecoins is having a bunch of different ones. So in this vault, I have some USDC and I have some DAI. So I'm doing that instead of the USDC USDT vault because I have USDT in other places. So right now for this one, as you can see, I'm getting 9%. So I'm getting about 8.51% for the farm, and then I'm getting an extra 0.51% in the auto token for a total of 9%. And because I'm a big fan of auto, I like getting a little bit extra auto in here. Although I do hold most of my auto on the Binance Smart Chain network, now I'm getting a little bit of the P auto, which is the Polygon auto through this farm. But 9% here on my USDC DAI on Auto Farm, which is auto compounding yield from Walt Finance. So that's what I'm doing on Polygon right now. Now, in terms of Binance Smart Chain, where am I on Binance Smart Chain these days? Well, I'm actually using one of the lesser known, smaller lending, borrowing platforms on Binance Smart Chain, and that is BiFi. Now, if you watch the channel, you may remember that we did have a sponsored video for Bifrost. We did a feature video on the platform. While I was making that video, I talked to the team. I liked the team. I think they are really under the radar still. If you look at DeFi Station, they're sitting in at 38. They have just over 7 million locked. But in my interaction with them in using the platform, I've been very happy. And so I do trust them as much as you can trust these platforms because obviously they all have a lot of risk built into them, but they seem to be trying to build something real here. They're not over promising anything. They're just, in my opinion, a really solid borrow and lending platform. So they are who I am using on Binance Smart Chain. And because I don't have my wallet attached here, you're not going to be able to see exactly what the APYs are, but I can tell you that right now I am just in the USDT pool, so it's a single vault pool for USDT. Right now I'm making 5.62% on it back in USDT. That has been fluctuating since I've been using this from 10% down to about just under 6%. And every day it kind of fluctuates a little bit. But I also get 6.47% extra in the BiFi token. And Bifrost has two tokens. They have the BFC token, but the token I'm getting extra rewards in is actually this one, the BiFi token. And it's around just under 3 cents right now. It's market cap just over 3 million. Like every other alt, it's basically crashed in the last 90 days, but it's been holding steady really over the last month or so, really hasn't moved. And so I'm just accumulating some BiFi because I do like the project, and because we're at the lows right now, we've already seen such a big pullback right now. I'm just holding, but you could also sell as you accumulate. But that's really icing for me. It's really, I like this platform, has the right risk for me, and I'm getting that 6 to 10% for my USDT, and that's really why I'm using it. And so I'm using this on Binance Smart Chain, but they also are on Ethereum as well. Just another quick note on BiFi. They actually just introduced something called BiFiX, which is pretty cool. It's a one-click option for yield farming. So it's a little like auto farm in that they will automatically auto compound yield for you so you get the best yield. But it's actually something I hadn't quite seen before. It says here in the Medium post that they posted about it, BiFiX DeFi lending of tomorrow. So BiFiX can get you the maximum leverage in a single transaction using flash loans. So instead of repeating depositing and borrowing ad infinitum, this is an entirely new application of flash loans to maximize and democratize the potential of DeFi lending. Why is it better? Well, it's simpler. Anyone can do it with a few clicks. It's cheaper and it's clearer, and you can use it for two different reasons. You can use it to earn, so yield farming like we're talking about, but you can also use it for margin trading. Anyway, it's something they just launched. It's still in beta mode. I'm going to check it out, and so I will let you know in future videos what I think of it, but essentially allows you to use leverage, whether for yield farming or for margin trading. As you can see, the example here, if you deposit 1 ETH, then you can add 3 ETH in flash loans to deposit and then borrow 3 ETH to repay the flash loan. And so you end up with 4 ETH in deposits and 3 ETH in borrows. And so you're earning BiFi rewards for actually 7 ETH worth instead of the 1 that you started with. So it essentially allows you both on the lending and borrowing side to make the most out of your collateral. So I'll be curious to use this, and I'll let you know how that goes. But right now I am just using BiFi for the simple earn on my USDT. Now, another one that I'm not using yet, but a lot of people are talking about is Anchor, because with Anchor, you can get up to almost 20% APR right now on stablecoins. Now, this is on the Luna Terra network. So if you're familiar with the Luna token, that is the token of the Terra network. And so Anchor is built for this network, and it has its own stablecoin, which is UST. And this is totally decentralized option as well. A lot of people speak highly of it. I have not used it yet, but I am thinking of using it. As I said, I like to diversify my stable coins and all my crypto in as many different platforms as I can, just in case. You never know. Risk with all of them. And because this is on Terra Luna, which I have not used before, I am curious about it. And of course, obviously the high APY is certainly attractive as well. So this is anchorprotocol.com if you're interested. And again, this runs on Terra Luna. So those are the options I'm using right now for my stable coins. But there is one wild card. It's not ready yet, but it's going to be ready very soon. And that is the Acala network, the DeFi hub for Polkadot. And if you watch this channel, you know I love Polkadot. So you got to know I'm going to be doing DeFi on Polkadot as soon as possible. But Karura, which is their Canary network version of Acala, that just secured the very first parachain on Kusama. And so I anticipate that Karura is going to be launching in the next few weeks. So I will definitely be checking that out and probably using it. They're going to have their own stable coin as part of the Acala network. So I will probably purchase some of that and get to try Karura out as another way to get some yield on my stablecoins. But this one not available yet, hoping in the next couple weeks. All right, guys, so that is my strategy right now. It's always changing, ever changing. I like to try different platforms. I try to keep my eye out for that perfect risk versus reward. As you can tell by the options that I've given you, these are mid-risk, I would say, options. All of them have certain risks to them, but these aren't by any means the ones that are chasing the highest yield or the highest yield farming returns. I have a separate budget for that. This is, again, my core foundation stablecoins where I am just earning some yield for them so that those bags are ready to buy dips when I want to. And as we saw with the recent collapse of the market in the last few months, you can really never have too many stablecoins on hand because it gets really easy to deploy those stablecoins to be buying the dips, but you never know when that next dip is going to come. So even now, we've seen some stability in the market. I'm pretty optimistic. I think we're going higher from here, but you always want to be ready for both options. So if we do end up going lower, that's why I am building these stablecoin bags. And obviously, if I'm going to be holding stablecoin, I want to earn some yield on it. So these are the choices that I'm doing right now. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? What are you doing to get yield on your stablecoins these days? Are you using any of the options I talked about? Are you using different ones? What networks are you using other than Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, Ethereum, and now Terra Luna? Are you using other ones? Are you using Avalanche? Are you using Phantom? Let me know in the comments. Always love hearing what you guys are doing. That's it for today's video. If you found it valuable, please smash that like button. And if you're not a subscriber to the channel already, then please subscribe now and make sure you hit that notification bell. As always, thanks for watching. My name's Milton. Until next time, over and out.